Okay. You can't do a talk about connecting children to nature without some nature. Right? It's my company tonight giving me support. This is a baby deodar cedar. And you're going to learn how it's made a difference in some of my children's life. At least not this one, but its grandfather on our campus. I'm a native Charlottean, you know, Charlotte from Charlotte. And I live in the same house I grew up in. And I teach at the same elementary school where I went to elementary school. I get a deja vu going down the halls every day. When I was born, this is what the green spaces in Charlotte looked like. It's a lot, right? When I was born. Now, I'm not telling you. Oh, it says up there, what a shame. This is what it looks like now. Yeah, oh, that's what I said. So up in the top corner up there is Freedom Park. The line that goes down is Little Sugar Creek Greenway. And the other big space is my school. Yes. And the little blue space up there is where I live. I'm only a few blocks from my school. I don't know how you deal with Charlotte traffic every day. I'm thankful that I don't have to. I get in my car and say, thank you, I only live a few blocks from school. I should be walking, should be riding my bike, but I'm afraid to cross Park Road. This is what it looks like. I knew I had to do something. It said to me that those spaces are extremely important to us connecting with nature on a daily basis. For me, it meant that I needed to be a good steward of what land that I've been entrusted. I've been entrusted with my own backyard. I've been entrusted with my own churchyard. I've been entrusted with my schoolyard. And what am I going to do with it? Well, I'm going to take children outside. I'm gonna let them know how much I love it and hope that they love it too. To hope that they have a respect for all life. To know that they are a part of a web of life and that what they do affects every other plant, animal, living being that's out there. The best thing that I like to do, though, is to plant trees. Recently, Trees Charlotte came and planted 104 trees on our campus. Well, 103. We now have over 70 different species of trees on our campus. And I'm here to say, I bet there's no other campus in Charlotte that has that many different species. But what that's brought is 70 different species of butterflies, moths, and caterpillars. Who knew? Who knew that we could find 70 different species in our campus? We did a citizen science bio blitz on our campus. And my students, I said, we're gonna register every plant and animal that we see. And right now, we're up to 105. And with kids who love bugs, at least 350 of those are bugs. I've learned to love bugs because I'm following my children. I'm here to say that there is a world of nature outside your window. It's waiting to be appreciated. It's waiting to be explored. And it's waiting maybe to be created. So, if it needs to be created, I got a tree. So somebody needs to go home with this tonight, because I can't plant any more in my backyard. But before Trees Charlotte came and planted 104 trees, I had planted with my students over 100 trees, one at a time, digging up that clay soil. Now, when Trees Charlotte came, they had an auger. But me, you know, we were digging in some hard clay. Trees are essential to our health. Oh, There's not a child on my campus that doesn't understand that the very breath of life they take comes from trees. Outside of my window for about 12 years of my life was this giant beech tree. Take it in, because I took it in every day of my life that I was there. I looked up in its massive branches and I stood in awe. 300 years it had made it through. Surely I could make it through the next 30 minutes. I wish I were there right now. But I've had a connection to nature all my life. When I was the age of my students now, I was growing cucumbers and tomatoes in my backyard garden. And I was selling them to my neighbors for 5 cents. Okay? Now I realize that's telling my age again, because that tomato is probably worth $2 now. I was climbing trees. I was riding my bike to Freedom Park. One of the best things that I think has happened to our students this year is that we have got a bike to school group. I love it that they are out riding their bikes to school, that they are taking the risk to ride their bikes. They see nature along the way, and that makes me happy. I also fished with my father, and I bird watched with my mother. I bird watched with my mother up until the day she died. And I bird watch every day. This morning I got up and knew I had to do this talk tonight, and I had bombed on Monday night and I was a bit worried about it. But I saw this bluebird on my feeder. It was a baby. And immediately I went, oh, bluebird of happiness. This is a sign. My mother's legacy to me, where's my sister Susan? Yeah, our mother's legacy to us was bird watching. She watches birds too. What is your legacy going to be? What nature legacy are you going to leave your children? What both disturbs me and motivates me is that my children do not have the same experience in nature that I did. I would take a nature walk with them and say to them, what'd you do over the weekend? And they would say to me, oh, played video games, watched TV, right? Statistics say that 90% of our children's time is spent indoors, and 50 hours a week plugged in. That's frightening to me. They've never climbed a tree. Many of them don't know how to be in nature. And some of them are even scared of nature. I'm still trying to convince them that that English ivy out there is not poison ivy. Richard Louv, in his book, Last Child in the Woods, said, he calls this nature deficit disorder. And I agree with that. And I was determined to prevent my children from being the last child in the woods. So, one of the things I did was to make a proposal to my principal for me to take every student from every classroom at least once a month in a small group in the outdoor classroom. I thought outside the box. And I'm so thankful that she was willing to take that step with me, because it's worked. Can I hear an amen from my Park Road people? See? There is something that you need to be doing, I'm sure, to step outside of the box. Maybe you're a teacher who needs to do one of these talks. It's not my comfort zone either. But I believe in what I'm doing. And I don't know a single teacher in my school who doesn't believe in what they're doing. I teach science now, but guess what? I hate to admit it, but when I went to Myers Park High School, I flunked science. I flunked. What I wouldn't give for those teachers to see me now. Yeah. Yeah. The difference for me, when I took it in summer school, I made an A. And I made an A because the teacher loved what he was doing. And it was hands-on. And it was outside, and I didn't have to sit in the classroom. That's the kind of science I have with my children. My children know that I love nature. This is what my science class looks like. Students learning how and why we test the soil. Students measuring this giant sycamore leaf. Do you realize that thing is 17 inches long? Taking algae out of the creek and trying to determine how does it photosynthesize underwater? Or how big can a fungus actually grow? Or how do you tell if a turtle is male or female? You look at its plastron. You know what a plastron is? Okay, you need to come with me. Learning why in the heck that invasive species is all over the place. And learning what metamorphosis is by actually seeing the egg, the larva, the adult. One of my inspirations is Sir Ken Robinson, and he's dedicated his life to educational reform. This is him, sitting beside a tree on our campus. He came to see us, and we planted this tree in his honor. Sir Ken says that there are 5 reasons why outdoor learning is important. Let's take a look. Nature is a powerful resource. Children can learn through practical hands-on activities, remember? I can't read with my glasses. You can tap into children's curiosity. It's a social experience, and children can learn from working together. I love it when we're trying to pull a cartload of mulch, because if you don't have everybody working together, that cartload of mulch is going to take a dive down the hill and somebody's going to get hurt. They work together. We get that 200-pound load of mulch down the hill safely. And learning outdoors is fun. That's why they like to go with me. It's fun. I'm thrilled that CMS is getting more school gardens. When I started this work, there were some gardens maybe in the high schools, the ag or hort programs, but I didn't see very many in the elementary school, middle school campuses, but there's a lot more, and I'm thrilled that our community partners are helping to put some of those gardens in our schools, because there are a lot of schools that have gardens now that didn't, and I think they're the perfect place for us to do outdoor learning. They're the perfect place for our children to learn good nutrition. They're the perfect place to just soak in some vitamin D. But I'm here to say to you, there's more than just a school garden on your campus, and you need to explore it. I'm also here to say that there's more than just the physical benefits of school gardens. I've seen nature make a difference in the behavioral life of our students. There are some of us who find the classroom a bit restrictive. And if there are no walls, you can't bounce off the walls. Outside, we can be as loud as we want, and you can tell that I like to be loud, and we can move as much as we want, and I like to do that. But I want to tell you about a 4-year-old. This 4-year-old is loud and rebellious and moves a lot. I like her because I see myself in her. She's in the BMT's office a lot. But her parents brought her to help us plant those 104 trees, and she planted a deodar cedar just like this one. I was thrilled that they brought her to do that. And so I went to her teacher and I said, will you give us a chance to have her say in front of the class that she planted that tree? And the teacher agreed to it. So I went to the classroom and everybody was sitting in the circle, but her. She was rolling around on the floor out here. We brought her back in and she got a chance to share that she planted a tree. And now she sees me in the hall, and I'll say to her, oh, hey, there you are. You're my nature tree buddy. And the next day she'll see me in the hall. Am I still your tree buddy? Or, remember, you told me about bats. And that's about the way she says it. And you know, we're supposed to be quiet in the halls. But I'm sorry, I love it. Because she is getting positive feedback, something she wasn't getting a lot of and something she needed. This is the grandfather of this tree. It's on our campus. Aren't we lucky? And you can tell our children love to climb it. And I'm so glad they are climbing trees. And some of you think, oh my God, they're climbing trees. You know, what if they fall out? Oh, I'd rather have a broken arm than have problems. So I want to tell you the story about a 4th grader. When I encountered this 4th grader, she was in a bush. She had run out of the classroom. There were 2 adults out there trying to talk to her. She was refusing to talk to them, and she was refusing to come out of the bush. Another student that I could relate to, because I can't tell you how many times I have had to run to a tree to find refuge. I knew what she was looking for. So I said, come with me. Let's go to this tree. I said, do you want to climb it? She said yes, like, oh, I get to do something I'm not supposed to do. She sat up in that tree. I stood below. And the tree worked its magic. She began to talk to me about being bullied, about what was going on with her and some of her classmates. She didn't have to sit in a room and look at me and tell me what was wrong. She could tell it to the tree, and the tree took care of her. And she was able to come down from that tree and go back to class. Oh, I wish I were there. This is Rachel Carson. She's another one of my inspirations. And it was her book, Silent Spring, that led to the banning of the toxic chemical, DDT. Yes. She says that if we're going to save the planet from our own destructive hands, that it's going to be with children and a sense of wonder. She says, if a child is to keep alive his inborn sense of wonder, he needs the companionship of at least one adult who can share it, rediscovering with him or her the joy, the excitement, and the mystery of the world we live in. I get to be that companion every day. I love it I'm 60. We need you to be that companion. My children need you to be that companion. So, I'm going to suggest to you some homework. I want you to take a nature walk. I'm talking about a very slow, not what you're used to doing, noticing things you don't notice as you hurry by normally. Explore. Be curious. Be grateful. Be present and open to what nature can teach you. Be open to the healing that it can bring you and your children. I believe your health, my health, the health of my children, and the health of the planet will depend on it. I want to be the next Rachel Carson. Matter of fact, when I said to somebody, I'm turning 60, I don't know if I can do this anymore, she said, think of Jane Goodall. She's in her 80s. So, let me start again. I love this song. For the children, save the trees, save the rocks and hills and valleys, save the seas. We must strive to save the planet and commit to its rebirth. We must do it for the children, save the earth. Aha! These are my children on nature. You need to get you some of that. Thank you. Yay. Thank you.